right when I turn the thing on, it goes,
Whoops it, Daisy. Whoops it, Daisy Angle.
What's up, y'all? I'm Jared.
I am Josh. Good to be here, brother man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's my first thing to kick off the weekend with is I got to go see Captain Marvel.
Sweet.
And, I was going into it. I didn't realize that I was seeing it on National Women's Day. Apparently that's, would have to imagine that's weekend was circled with this release date, but neither here nor there in the fact that it's freaking awesome.
Good, man.
I was hearing the rumors about people trying to give it bad scores on Rotten Tomatoes out the gate, and I didn't research it enough to see what they were saying that people didn't like about it, but I don't know what, if you've made it this far in, and this is the one you have a problem with, you're crazy.
You weren't paying much attention.
You're freaking crazy. I guess my one joke that I thought was kind of fun, everybody was just, it felt like you're in that movie in the theater watching it, like John Cusack in Hot Tub Time Machine style. It's like, you gonna lose that eye? How is it gonna happen? It's gonna happen. Here it comes. Here it comes. Oh.
Ooh.
And they did the same thing, just like Hot Tub Time Machine. They kind of tease you with it a little bit, but has nowhere near the payoff that Crispin Glover's arm getting slung off does. But it's nonetheless, it's it happens.
We're sticking around for.
Yeah. So well, I guess that was it.
Yeah, man.
But that's part of the joke too. Is it's this kind of folklore around it. The agent's like asking Nick Fury, is like, "Is this really what happens?" Like, I don't even confirm nor deny that story. But the only criticism that I found, I guess, with the movie is kind of story-wise. You have the Jude Law trainer guy character.
Stick.
Yeah.
Jude Law is Stick.
Yeah. Punching bag.
Yeah.
And he's teaching her the ways of the Kree. And he's telling her this whole time, your emotions get the best of you. That is why you are vulnerable. And so it sounds to me like, is that code word for you saying, oh, she's womanly. So, and on top of all that, you're telling her this whole time, the Brie Larson character is, you're so emotional, that's why you're weak. That's why I can defeat you. And she's stone-faced the whole time. Like, where's this emotion you're talking about? That is the one kind of plot hole where you're kind of like, I don't really buy that, but whatever. And I guess that's what they tried to show in some of her flashbacks on Earth of her life that happened on Earth. That was her emotional side, but they didn't play that up nearly enough to make her sing like, loud and greedy. So, if there's a problem with the character, I guess that might be the only one, is like you're telling her she's doing all this stuff that just ain't happening. So,
yeah, if you have Carol, and Carol's emotional might not be the right word, but if you've got Carol and if there's nothing to Carol, you F the character up. Because the thing, we've talked about it before, man, Captain Marvel is pretty much omnipotent. I mean, it's basically God. The character is like so overpowered. It's Superman. You don't get any drama in Superman until you have the relationships with human beings. Carol, like it's what we talked about a couple of shows back, man. Carol is Hal Jordan. She's got a lot of attitude, a lot of ego, whole lot of demons. It's just, there's a lot going on there. So yeah, man, I mean, if you want to play up the emotion thing, you can. If you want to make it a woman thing, I think it's a mistake, but that's your call. It's your movie to make. But yeah, especially that was my thing with the preview.
That's the only way I could make sense out of what, is that what he's trying to say?
I don't know, man. Just because the character's been like that forever. Because she's like, I mean, she really is a lot like Starbuck from Battlestar, where there's just a whole lot of crap and a whole lot of, I don't know if doubt's the right word with Carol, but she just, a lot of times she can't get out of her own way. And that's necessary for the character. Because holy crap, if Carol Danvers was all like, I'm the baddest mofo in the room, the movie's real short. Because it's like, yeah, you are, but you can't It's the same thing with Hal. If Hal can't keep his crap together, Green Lantern's a real short story, man.
Mm-hmm.
But I ain't gone to see it yet. But that was my thing with the commercial. Is there's just, I was hoping they were saving some of that for the movie. But I don't know, man. That's a tough origin story, because if you just want, I know a lot of people were nervous about it just being the nuke that comes in and takes out Thanos, and I don't think any of us want that. As much as I love the Captain Marvel character, I assure you it needs to, piece in the puzzle is great, but just like, oh yeah, it's Reed, because I'm a Fantastic Four fanatic, but the number of times they will throw Reed Richards into the crossovers just to be the guy who comes up with the weapon to win the day, it just gets so old.
Yeah.
And I don't want them to do that here. I want everybody to have to contribute. And I'm sure they will. It's just that, I don't know, that was the thing that bummed me out about the commercial. I was hoping they were just trying to push the badass button to get people in the theater, and they'd give you more when you got there. But if she's just doing the face the whole time, I'm like, oh no.
I think there's a decent enough build up to how powerful she gets, to where it's like, when it finally does throw down at the end, oh man, this is good. This is good right here.
Yeah.
I'm digging this.
Oh, I can dig it. But that's kind of the other side of that is what's bugging me. It's like, showing how powerful Captain Marvel isn't my problem. My problem is there's got to be some vulnerability too, because that just indestructible badass is the most boring thing that you can possibly do. It's one of the reasons that I think the recast, I love, for Pete's sake, Ed Norton, but the recast of Ruffalo is one of the best ideas ever, because as a character, there's nothing to the Hulk. You've got to balance it out, because who's going to stop him? Nobody. Without Benjamin Grimm, you've got no story for the character, the Hulk. But man, they do such a good job with the Widow story, and with Ruffalo's so good that there's something to it. But yeah, it's like, I apologize if I'm making it sound like, they better not undercut her powers. It's the complete opposite that I'm concerned about. Her being over the moon powerful, I mean, it's basically Thor times 1,000. She's God. I'm nervous about, man, really? Y'all aren't going to put the human, again, Captain Marvel is one thing, Carol Danvers is something else. And if you don't have the vulnerability of Carol Danvers, it's like, oh no.
I think they wanted, there's some good stuff that they put in there to kind of build that.
Good, man, because that's cool.
It's similar to a lot of the origin stories, in that it's the whole unknown past, and maybe the good guys that you've been told are the good guys aren't what they say they are, and maybe these people that you've been told your whole existence are the bad guys. Maybe they're just trying to get by.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where the vulnerability comes in, and it makes it a fun story, because it is similar to the Captain America story and some of the other stories, where it's like, okay, well, what they didn't do a good job with, I think, building her up vulnerability wise. Like, well, now I've been lied to. Now I'm pissed, and now I'm just gonna do what I think's the right thing to do.
Yeah,
and
I can get down with that. I'm with you. It does sound a lot like Winter Soldier, but I'm okay with that, because I thought Winter Soldier was quite good.
And I think that's my new way of ranking the movies, because it's not enough to say, well, will you go see it in the theater? Because I go see all of them.
Me too. Anymore, I'm not buying any more of them. So it's like, I'm with you. It's like I'm going to the theater.
That's my new rating scale.
Fantastic.
Like, which one would you buy?
That's excellent.
I think Avengers 1, Civil War, Guardians 1, Captain Marvel, and there was another one that I had on my list. I guess I would have to go with the first Iron Man, because if that's your 5, it's pretty dang good 5.
Yeah, man.
I'm still one of those dummies that I really enjoyed Ant-Man. I'm in a minority with that, I think, but I think that's my new rating scale. Is like, I go watch all of them anyway. So which ones would you buy and keep on the shelf?
Yeah, man. Which ones would I buy? Which ones would I recommend to people? Because I don't recommend all of them either. It's strange. I think that would be like the next tier up. You go see them. Then there's the ones that's like, yeah, go check that out. And then there's what would you buy? Because I've been doing that, like just looking at the shelf. Actually, it's interesting you said 5 because that's literally how many of them I have. I've got the 3 Avengers and I've got the Guardians of the Galaxy. And honestly, the Avengers can go. As much as I think Civil War is absolutely extraordinary. But I don't know, maybe I should watch it again before I say that.
Infinity War. Infinity War's...
Yeah.
Take out Iron Man, put Infinity War in there.
I can dig that completely, man, because I
what I was
think
forgetting.
that's the one I'm contemplating keeping. That and Guardians 1 and 2, because Guardians 2 is my absolute favorite of all of them, and I love the first one still as well. So it's like those 2 I'm keeping. Everybody else can probably go. My recommendation ones that I don't know if I would buy them, but I think other people should watch them and decide. Black Panther, Doctor Strange would definitely be the top 2 in that
Doctor
tier.
Strange just for the visuals alone.
Yeah, just watch it.
It's just cool.
Got to see that sucker. It's neat, man. And I'm with you on Avengers 1. It's great, and I love the second one too. But I like the second one for kind of dumb reasons. I'm hoping. I don't know, man. I'm still hoping to get like a good Scarlet Witch as the bad guy payoff. I just love the idea of the new phase being you basically have like god level powers with human being problems. That's Captain Marvel. And you've got super scientist who also has to run, be a politician. That's Black Panther. And then I love the angle of having like the magic angle where you've got Doctor Strange trying to keep Wanda from unmaking the world. I just think that, oh man, I think there's so much cool crap you could do. Then you can always do space with the Guardians. I know that we've discussed it before, that the idea of Thor and the Guardians was so good in Infinity War that the idea of Valkyrie being the new Gamora is, and I don't mean Star-Lord's girlfriend, I just mean being in the Guardians. That's cool. Like an Asgardian of the galaxy seems like a cool idea to me, man. So I'm hoping that all of those things can happen.
I guess my other thing about this one, that I'm just kind of done with the end credit scenes.
I understand that.
It was fine when it was just one. When sit through the credits, a quick little scene at the end. But now the MO is you have the movie end, title screen, cast, quick scene, credits, and then a stupid as hell
all the
quick scene at the end.
Yeah, all the last ones are dumb.
You really haven't furthered anything along.
Yeah.
I like, for the most part, the ones that come first, I think, are the ones that you need to stick around for.
Yeah, man, that's necessary.
This one is like next level stupid.
Next level
on the scale. Yes, it's pretty terrible.
I like us discussing like next level powers for Captain Marvel and next level as far as like, okay, do I want it? Do I recommend it? Did I see it? And now it's next level stupid for the scenes at the end.
This one's one of those that you wait around in the theater and it just makes you mad. Like, I sit around for this.
Could have been in my car already.
Yeah.
I could have been in line at the McDonald's.
Could have been on the road.
For real, man. I've been going home.
Torch the house.
For real, I could be getting my Taco Bell on right now. Right now.
So, that's, I think it's pretty easy to try to compare it to Wonder Woman, but it's just another thing that Marvel has taken from DC and said, we're going to do anything that you even try to do good, we're going to do 10 times better.
Is there anything in the Green Lantern, I mean the story, not the movies, because my thing with Wonder Woman was Black Panther. Black Panther and Wonder Woman were the same thing, and Black Panther's absolutely killed it. It's like we talked about, man.
The first 2/3 of Wonder Woman are like, man, they are getting their stuff together. And then the last third of the movie's kind of like, no, they're not.
Yeah, they remembered. They remembered they were DC.
Yeah.
That's a bummer, man. That's such a downer.
So, I mean, I don't know if anybody else is making that comparison, but that's, but it's definitely one to go check out and see. But it's I know it's the new one, so it's kind of going to be high on my list for a while. But
it happens to me every time too, man. It's cool.
I can't help it.
Yeah, man. They tend to stay up, man. Like the ones that I really like, they stay up there. So I totally get it, man.
Yeah, but since talking about DC and Wonder Woman, that's the last one I think I'm gonna see. Didn't see Justice League.
Yeah.
Could not give two craps about Shazam. I just to take that for that. I didn't see Aquaman. To take that character and do the comedy with, I'm like, what?
It seems strange. I mean, I don't know, man. Part of me with Shazam is I have no interest in watching it because that's not my character, and I don't watch. I saw Man of Steel, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. And every time I say that to people, they're like, "Oh, but Batman, Superman." I'm like, "No, I saw Man of Steel. That was it.
Yeah.
That's not a stutter. That's not a misspeak."
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing with Shazam is like, yes, let's go full on Marvel. Let's go Deadpool this time and just go straight up comedy. And I'm like, okay, but I'm still not. I'm not going. I don't care what you do. So have fun.
So that was one of the trailers that I saw. Was Shazam? Couldn't give a crap about. Spider-Man: Far From Home looks fun just because Mysterio is going to be in it. So
that's cool.
That'll be interesting. And I don't understand why would anybody give a crap about seeing that Pikachu movie when it's Ryan Reynolds doing it.
I don't understand.
Detective Pikachu. Hopefully there will be just waves of people younger than me that just get it and love it, but I'm just like, I just don't care.
Yeah, Pokemon was after my time anyway, so it's all that stuff is cool.
It feels to me like anything that Ryan Reynolds does from here on out, it's like you're not casting Ryan Reynolds to play Pikachu, you're casting Deadpool.
Yeah, exactly.
To play Pikachu.
Oh, somebody nailed that. They put a tweet up a long time ago. It's like, how great is it that Ryan Reynolds agrees to play Pikachu so he can make jokes about it in the next Deadpool? And I'm like, that's probably closer to the truth than you think. I mean, like, it's just anything that you do now. It's okay. Let's put it in the next movie. Which I still haven't seen that second one. And I think my thing with the second Deadpool is as soon as I saw Brolin in the Cable costume, I'm like, well, that's as much as I'm going to get out of it. That's great. I love that casting. I love that guy, and it's like, well, cool. I've already seen what I needed to see. Yeah, it's all right.
I just sticking to my if they're not going to follow the rules of you only get to play one comic book character, I'll do it for you. And he's Thanos as far as I'm concerned.
I can dig it, man.
Can't be anybody else.
That's right. You're done.
That's it. And that's all.
You're done. Stop, sir.
So it kind of goes without saying. Go see Captain Marvel. And well, the dumbest thing I meant to admit this and get it out of the way from the get-go, was I was sitting in the theater, and there was this, I discussed this with my cousin John. He had to sit through this. He was like, God, you're stupid. But just knowing, every time they would say the name Marvel, you pronounce it Marvel, all I could think about it was, there was this old-ass, Jim Varney playing Ernest tape of commercials that I just wore out when I was a kid, and it still holds up. I don't care. It makes me laugh like crazy. It's funny as hell because there's this I think it's called You Know What I Mean, or Know What I Mean Volume 1 and 2, or it's all his commercials that he'd do for markets that are out in Texas somewhere, and he's doing commercials for companies that some of them you've heard of them, most of them you haven't. But it gets to this one commercial, and I want to say it's like in the outtakes, because it's like he couldn't even get through it without saying all of it. But he would just get right in the camera, and he's doing this commercial for Marvel Turkey Burn. It's every time they would.
Every time they say it, you're like, you can't help it.
It's not only is it Marvel Turkey, it's the tagline is, think of what you can do with it when you think of it as meat. So that's all that was going through my head every time they were Annette Bening was on screens. I'm like, oh, stop it, you're killing me. And it was kind of misleading also with the trailers and the Entertainment Weekly magazines, because they led you to believe that Jude Law was the original Marvel, but that's not the case. So a curveball that you got thrown, but it's not. It doesn't get you all in a huff like, oh my God,
I don't know, man. I know several people that are actually mad that Captain Marvel's a guy. I don't know why you got Brie Larson playing him. He's a guy, and it's like they turned Carol Danvers into Captain Marvel in like '73. But if Marvel Turkey is now a woman, okay, let them have their fuss fit about that, because there you go.
Yeah.
It's okay, well, that's cool.
Because I bought into it. I was like, well, surely that's who he is, and then they switched that up on. He's
Cool,
like,
man.
But it didn't. You know.
Listen, I don't think there's any reason in the world, if people are going to jump online and raise a stink about stuff like that before you even make the movie, you absolutely should pull out your what's the word I'm looking for, man? I can't. Your tine, and poke them right in the butt, simply because absolutely nothing gets buzzed faster than people going online and registering their disgust. Ask Gillette; they know all about it. It's just like. You know, it's just like it worked. It totally works. So, yeah, man, it's like, okay, if you're huffy about Carol Danvers, if you're huffy about that character being a girl, wait till you find out what we did to Marvel. I think, dude, play it up. Do it. If you're going to do it anyway, man, hey, have fun with it.
So we got that going for us this weekend.
I'm going to check that guy. I haven't seen it yet because I normally do, like, Wednesdays or Thursdays or something like that. Maybe I'll go on. Maybe that'll be my St. Patrick's Day. I can go and I'll go to the movies, because I do need to go see that, because I know I told you, man, I got real messed up with it because I really like the character and I'm very excited, and I like Brie Larson a lot too. So everything about it, I'm like, cool, this is gonna be great. And then all the commercials, I'm really lukewarm on it, and I still want to go see it. But it could be a good thing, because maybe my expectations have come down now, and it'll be like, but I don't know what it is. There's just something about it I'm not feeling. I don't remember the last one I saw, though, where the commercials did anything for me one way or the other, though. Yeah. To be totally fair, it's like, you're going to go see them all anyway. Well, most of them.
It's one of those that it takes a minute to get going.
That's cool.
But most of them do. But once it gets going, it's going pretty good.
Guardians once screwed that up with letting Chris bounce around to the old soundtrack, and just that's one of my favorite things in that movie is when it gets to the title screen and it's so huge. I don't know why that's so funny to me, man, but how enormous Guardians of the Galaxy is on the screen is very funny to me.
We are legit doing this.
Yeah, seriously, this is
not a joke.
This is the beginning of the movie.
We're not going to pull the rug out from underneath you.
For real.
We're going to do it Fastlane style.
It's coming, guys.
So we had that go down tonight.
Oh, we sure did.
Like it or not.
Yeah, it was.
Can we just start not having a pay-per-view before WrestleMania? But will that make the Royal Rumble the one that everybody hates? I don't know.
I think we should go to 8 pay-per-views a year, and that includes NXT. If you want to do 6, you can do 6, but I think every other month is too much.
Yeah.
But 4 pay-per-views a year, just like it used to be. You got time to build stories. It's great. Yeah. It's great. It was cool. Like I said, the thing with this show tonight is when they got to the end, it's like, well, clearly that's where all the resources for the show went, and at least they got it right. That was very cool. It was a good match. Corbin worked his butt off tonight, man. I was really, like, he did really good work, and he's not my guy, except for we were talking about End of Days and the Deep Six and all that. Those are impressive moves, but Roman Reigns is not a little guy. That looked awesome. He did a good job with that, man. But, I mean, it's not... The best one ever is still the one... Golly, I don't remember who all it was. It was the 3-way. It was him and Ziggler and... I don't remember who it was now, man. But basically, it's where he does up for that and Ziggler throws in the zigzag with it. It was cool. I'm sorry that I don't remember who it was. But anyway, that was neat. Anyhow, all that was cool. All the Shield stuff was cool. That worked out well. And that was quite literally the only thing on the show that I thought was worth anything. Because everything else stunk. Because Bryan Danielson's not my guy. I love KO, but if you're not going to put him in there to go one-on-one, okay. Mustafa Ali, I mean, dude, I know it's... Yeah, for real. I think he was saying during the show, man, like, what are we doing here? Yeah. But the same thing with, like, well, Kofi Kingston only got that push because Mustafa Ali got hurt. Well, okay, but it's his push now, and I guess it's to keep him available for WrestleMania, because it feels like they're going to have that match. But
that's what they're going to do.
Harkening back to 19... Can you possibly? How do you not have Kofi win? Doesn't he have to win? I'd love it if he did. So. I'd love it if he did. Man, I say harkening back to 19 because it just feels. minus the race angle. Thank God.
So,
Oh my God.
So they won't go that.
Oh
heavy-handed.
God. Don't let Bryan Danielson start cutting racist promos. He doesn't need to, and there's no need for it because it doesn't fit the character. And Triple H was doing the Harley Race thing, and it was all good, except that when Harley cut those promos on Ron Simmons on behalf of Vader, it's because Ron was going over. And so that's still, I hate that. I love that match so much. I think it's so underrated. But man, Tripp's calling his own number and going over in that one, that's a huge mistake. I'm still mad about that because it's like, nah, that was stupid. But anyhow, Kofi winning the title at WrestleMania would be awesome. And I hope they keep it just the two. They probably will because you've got the three-way for the women's match now, and we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, I'm hoping that that's the whole point is like, relax, Josh. We put Mustafa back in to get him out of the way, and Kofi's getting in there.
Yeah, it's don't have him lose again going in.
Oh yeah.
To the big show. And
Yeah.
Kevin Owens coming back and almost killing himself a couple of times in this match. Where he lands on his top crown of his head, off of the flip-de-doo from the corner.
Hurricane Rana. That was scary looking, man.
And then him doing his cannonball over the top rope, almost when he went between the tables. I thought he just cut his head off.
Honestly, I didn't know he was between. I was really nervous about that till he landed. Then you could see, but it was like I thought he had eaten the front of that table with his full-on face. I'm like, that was creepy, man.
Eric Rowan, protective of his shirt.
Yeah, Eric Rowan's. We
get away from my shirt.
We had a lot of fun with Eric Rowan's responsibly sourced shirt. I'm gonna throw you over the barricade, Kevin. You leave my shirt alone. It's mine. Give me my shirt. You give me my shirt. He turns into Robert Smigel or for Pete's sake, Lorne.
Yeah.
Give me my banjo. Nah, man. What else happened? The three-way was the three-way.
A couple three ways.
Yeah, seriously.
Wasn't much else of note.
Yeah, we came in the women's tag match and didn't really see anything. This is a stupid thing to say, but it's on my mind, so I'll say it. I still just think Bayley's cute as a button. I love that girl so much. I really wish that we could get something out of it. I hope good things happen for Bayley. Bayley's awesome.
Yep. Yeah. I think that's, it just feels like one of those shows. It's kind of like, let's just get through it.
Yeah.
Nobody get hurt.
Yeah.
Even those people tried to.
Even though Kevin Owens tried to die a couple of times.
And then we can just focus on the big show of the year.
I think you're right, man. And to your original point of like, why don't we just get rid of it, man?
Yeah.
Just keep everybody healthy. And there's no, I didn't think anything got advanced that you couldn't do on Raw. Because the only real thing, you got the nice, curtain call for the Shield and all that's good, but the only real story that you advanced was Becky and Ronda and Charlotte. And I thought that was so ridiculously stupid because I understand that you have Ronda bust up the match because she wants Becky in the match. I get that. But her doing so and then standing around with her little smug look on her face for then Becky to go into her insult comic routine of like, I'm totally fine, it's great, I'm in WrestleMania. It's like to play it up like they were and I'm not saying that I don't think they wanted it.
Should have been a knockout shot.
I thought that's what I'm saying. I thought that's what I would have done. Is I would have had her come to the ring and basically watch Charlotte just torture the crap out of her. Just literally like, if y'all want to keep playing up this ridiculous knee angle, put her in the figure eight and just do it. I think that's real cool. And then, once it comes down to it, you go and you knock her out so that technically Becky wins. And once Becky wins, she gets in the match. But I just thought turning it into a punchline on Charlotte was really stupid. I might have missed something. But the whole thing, I don't know, it was just to have Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey both smiling, their cocky little grins at the end of it made no sense to me.
Like, well, I'm just mad at both of you.
Yeah, I just did not understand that at all. I mean, if Ronda gets in the ring and just wails on Becky, I get that. But it's just so stupid. Again, that's like I was telling Jared, man, it is incredible. As I've said before, I've never, ever seen anybody interview me into interest or interview me out of interest. Boy, Becky Lynch has done it. She used to be my absolute favorite, and her work is still really good. But this Steve Austin cover band is absolutely god-awful. It is just awful. See, I didn't like it when Steve did it. I think Austin's amazing, but I wasn't a fan. There's a difference. But just running it was cool because, I mean, I'm not a huge believer in well, Stone Cold invented it from whole cloth, man, no one ever done anything like that before ever. I suggest you go back and watch old Crusher promos from
Yeah.
AWA, because it was the exact same thing. Drinking beer and smoking cigars and just beating people up. Same character. Everything old is new again. It's always good you can bring that stuff back around. But let's give you a black and white t-shirt and come out and talk tough and raise hell and man, it's gonna be all cool. It's way too, and now don't get me wrong, because obviously they made the right decision, because the freaking crowd are eating her alive. They love it, but I'm just telling you, I ain't one of them, and it's a bummer, because I just miss it. I don't know, but like you said, the match was just dumb, because the whole thing with both of them walking out with a smile on their face and Charlotte being the one upset, I don't understand that. If Charlotte wants to get mad because Ronda jumps in the ring and beats the crap out of Becky and gets her in the match, I get it. You don't want it to be a three-way. Okay, whatever, man, but you give Becky the time at the end to make her face and talk her junk and point at the sign, and that didn't make sense to me at all.
And I think it would have been a lot better to have, I don't know, her incapacitated in some way, shape, or fashion as her music's playing, and she's like,
yeah, they're rolling her.
She's on the road, pointing at the Wrestlemania sign.
Yeah, I'm going. Yeah, for real, man. It's going to be my moment. Yeah, for real, man.
Her saying. So,
if you dug it, though, explain to me, because maybe I missed something. I might have missed something. Because I understand Ronda and Charlotte have heat, too, and that part I don't know, because I didn't see it. But I understand. So her getting one back over on Charlotte makes sense. It's just them. I know they're not buddies, but they come off looking like they were in on it together, and it just, I don't know, it was lame.
that's why I think it just reeks of like, we got to do something because it's the show before Mania. So this is the best we could come up with.
Totally, man, which is ridiculous, because somebody pegged a year ago that Charlotte and Ronda were going to headline WrestleMania, and then went out of nowhere. We don't want Charlotte again. Charlotte gets everything. We want Becky. We want Becky the man. Okay. You had plenty of time to come up with something better than that. It's all good. And I think it's very cool. It's kind of like putting Kofi in there with Bryan Danielson. When the people tell you what they want, it's really good to give it to them. So putting Becky Lynch in that match is ingenious. But good Lord, it's not as hard as you're making it.
We'll just do the fans.
Oh, sure.
We'll just do the fans. We make movies.
Yeah, we sure do. We make movies, sir. They're fantastic movies. On the subject of movies, man, we were talking about this earlier. I absolutely love all the Ronda on the Road stuff. I like that people have the 50-50 reaction to it. I like that people are wondering if she'll get in trouble for her F Vince and F the WWE and F everybody and la-di-da stuff. But it is funny if you watch that video when she catches herself on the word fake. That I've got a kind of a chuckle out of. But I really do like the work. We've talked about it forever, man. Twitter's the new kayfabe, and it's very good because the people get to make up their own stuff, and it's a lot better. Now I think they're being policed a little more, and that sounds ridiculous with all the curse words flying around, but nobody cares. No stockholders are looking at what these kids are tweeting, so that doesn't matter. It's just that I think maybe what you can and can't do might be being watched now where before it wasn't. But as far as the Ronda on the Road stuff goes, it's what we've talked about forever, where you like Miz's promos because he's always giving the last words. Same thing with John Cena. John Cena, man, he's a savage. Boy, you must have missed once in a lifetime. Because see what happened there was John was given a script and Rocky was given a microphone. And it got ugly, man. That thing wasn't close because Rock's ego came out and it was all like, you think you're me? And oh boy, he had no problem putting the kid in his place. And it's the thing they tried to recreate with, it's called a promo, big dog, I learned to cut one. That was written that way. People don't believe you when you tell them that, but it's like the crowning achievement in that promo is it shows you what a good actor Roman Reigns is, because Roman made it look like he genuinely flubbed the line. And then John gets to be John and say his thing. But we've actually seen John Cena in the real Lions Den. Just go back and watch him and Rock. It's simple. I said it again. John Cena was given a promo, Rock was given a mic. And where you have to just kind of eat it whenever Johnny gives you the punchline or makes you look bad or gives you the crusher or whatever it is. Rock's quick. He used to make that crap up. He's the reason they write promos now. So that guy's got a green light forever. I don't care how big John Cena thinks he is. You're not going to tell Rock that he can't respond because he'll do it anyway. All that junk that people thought CM Punk was doing, Rock actually gets to do because he's a movie star who's going to tell him no. Not Vince. Anyway. I don't even know how I got off on all that junk, man, but it's just, I think the Ronda Rousey stuff is very impressive, and the thing I think is interesting about it is UFC so clearly took that element from professional wrestling to get their fighters over, but it was more old school than what they do in WWE, because it's not like Dana White is sitting down the back and then Ronda says, and they really let them go.
Yeah.
So when Ronda's out there doing that big chested promo talk and all that, you can tell this ain't new to her, man. So I really like it. I like what they're doing. I think it's quite cool. And I was telling Jared that if we really want to swerve, because I've heard some people with the swerve, like, oh, what if Brock beats Seth? I think if Brock beats Seth, it's a huge mistake, because I think you'll turn people off. It's too much of the same thing. This has happened. I think that's a mistake. And maybe what I'm about to say is a mistake, too, because I know people want Becky to win that belt so bad it's killing them. Mm-hmm. But are we closing the show with that? I think they should. And that being the case, do you offer people the olive branch of Kofi winning the championship, which would make me happy, to then
a lot of people getting what they want?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea, especially if you go where I want them to go with that main event, which is what I was telling Jared. What I want them to do is I want them to legitimately stage a work shoot, and I want you to let it look like Ronda Rousey is killing Rebecca Quinn. I'll borrow her tweet. Mm-hmm. I mean, killing her. And Becky Lynch is an actress. She's been in movies. She's really quite good.
Yeah.
So play it up like you are being killed. I mean, you have Charlotte Flair jump in and try to help her friend. You actually hire state troopers from New York. I mean, make it look real. Don't do that stupid Vince Russo, oh man, she's going to jail in Atlanta. No, I mean, make the stuff look real. Like, stop the show. Literally make the people think they have seen Screwjob, Montreal Screwjob. But, you know, a good version. Because I've never bought the Screwjob, because Vince is an absolute moron if he's at ringside and it's not a work.
Yeah.
But do everything you can to make people think they legitimately saw Ronda Rousey snap on her, because holy crap, who is not going to talk about that? Yeah, it's just, there's so many things they can do, and I'm hoping that, I really hope the way they're going to blow the weekend off is on Raw. I'm hoping that we've talked about it before. I want this to be the year that we find out what TakeOver really means. And I hope that's what they're going to do. But at the same time, for what Vince likes, that crossover crap and people drooling at ESPN and all that, I'm seriously, man, stage that junk like you're legit shoot fighter Ronda Rousey, lost her mind, and really did go to the pokey. Yeah. And then you come out and all that stuff with Becky in Atlanta, that was fake. Yeah. This is real. I wish that they would do that. I don't know if they will, because I was telling Jared, man, with Owen Hart, I don't know if you can do that. Mm-hmm. But we're not talking about anybody dying here. But seriously, do this and send send Becky home for 3 months. And I mean, do it old school, man. But seriously, make people think that they are seeing something that's really happening. I think it's the coolest thing they could possibly do. And boy, they're gonna need some cool, because the weekend is shaping up to be a big boy. Can't wait. Yeah. And I don't know if that's what they'll do, and it's probably not what they should do, but I don't think it's a bad idea if you can pull it off. And I think you could. I honestly think you could. Because I don't think that... Becky Lynch does not seem to me to be in that ego position of like, I'm not putting her over. What are you talking about? No. This would be the biggest thing that anybody... If you can out-screwjob the screwjob and actually make people believe it, that's massive. I just think that'd be so cool. That'd be so cool, especially if Ronda's leaving anyway. Yeah. I would love it. I think that would be super cool. And then when Ronda comes back, there's just a lot of if she comes back, there's just a lot of stuff you could do with that. But I think that we said and it'd be a fascinating swerve, because I'm with you. The whole thing with Charlotte getting the main event, if it's the favor that people think it is, okay, I'm with you. I think you got to have somebody in there for Becky to beat. But man, if you want to go a different route, that's a cool different way to go, man. I would dig that. And then Asuka comes down and Mae Young, and they kill everybody. Oh, it's Mae Young. Oh, not Mae Young. Anyway, I think that's all I want to say about Mania. I'm lost on who's even on that card, man. I'm so distracted by the Gorillas Briscoes match.
There's not a whole lot definite yet. You have
that makes sense.
Lesnar, Rollins, and then you have the women's title match.
It's time.
Outside of that, there'll definitely be a Triple H Batista match, because that's what everybody wants to see.
Yeah, I tell you, as much as I love Guardians of the Galaxy, I didn't like Batista before, and I don't like Drax the Destroyer. I mean, I like Drax, but who cares, man?
It was a fun little surprise that I didn't necessarily see coming at the time. I mean, I guess people try to act like they saw it coming now. Like, no, you didn't. But it's like, man, this has been done before.
I
Do
think so
something
too.
that hasn't been done.
Yeah, I think so too.
What? Nobody wants to see this except you two.
That's kind of where I'm.
Put that on your survey, WWE Network.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like, who actually wants to see Batista do anything that's not a Marvel movie? Nobody. That's what we thought. Here he is, Wrestlemania.
There you go.
He's gonna you.
WWE Network survey. Screw you.
You know what? Tell us what you think. Don't expect us to give a damn. We don't care. We just wanted to know. We wanted to be nice and ask.
That's one of the infuriating things that I know. If you're a network subscriber, you get them too. But you see these surveys come down. Like, there was a time when I would actually answer them.
Yeah.
But it just kind of dawns like, man, it's just like everybody says on their podcast, or I think Cornette said it a few times. Jim Ross has even said it a few times, where it's like, there's still one guy making these decisions.
Absolutely, man.
It doesn't matter what analytics, statistics,
Absolutely,
surveys that they lay across his desk. This is what the people want to see. Like, no, we need Shane out there.
The easiest thing in the world is to talk to the average NXT viewer and the average WWE viewer, and that tells you one of them knows how to make this crap work. Because I do not hear complaints about NXT like you do, and I know it's a lot less people. It is a lot less people. But for the love of God, people have been complaining about the same stuff with Raw for years now, and SmackDown, they really had something going when it was, that show with AJ Styles, the guy who can work with anybody.
Yeah.
And they messed that up? I don't know if they messed it up, but it lost its steam, and it's like, man, y'all.
Not what it was.
Yeah, man.
So that's what's. You can send out all the surveys they want to, then you're gonna do Batista versus Triple H. I guess it's his match he wanted to come back and do. Why?
Yeah,
You've already done it.
Yeah, I don't get that at all, man.
And the thing about it is, it wasn't that bad when you did it the first time. It was decent enough. Let that be it.
I just don't get it. It's anytime. If Trips is on WrestleMania, he's getting 17 to 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Shane's 20 to 25 every time, which that's something, jerk that I am, I'm really hoping that Shane and Miz get about 25 minutes to show everybody just how overrated and horrible they each are. Because I hate both those guys, and I'll happily go take a half-hour dump while they're in the ring, man, because I just would love for those guys to get exposed, because I just can't stand either one of them. Shane in particular, because the biggest problem I have with Miz is that it's just, yes, he was on the Real World. We get it, Vince. Mm-hmm. Stop trying to make that a big deal. And he's got a lot of people on the side now. I mean, he's really turned people around, so that part's good. Shane, why does anybody like that guy?
Yeah.
I just don't get it. It's the same thing I was saying about Mustafa Ali, is why are we yelling for Mustafa Ali? Because everything he does is from the vanilla midget indie guy playbook. Like, everything he does is just half a Young Bucks match.
Yeah.
But we dig this. Wait a second, I thought it was a problem for these other guys. Stuff like that just irks me, man. And it's the same thing with Shane McMahon, where Mick Foley was a punchline for 20 years for, oh man, those freaking guys doing with thumbtacks and jumping off of buildings. It's so stupid. Man, Shane's fearless. It's like he's literally an ECW guy who really sucks. And the biggest problem I've got with Shane is the fire-up offense, where the guy had a match with The Undertaker where he literally wanted to make it look like he was a threat. Now that's just a bunch of crap. That is that wrestler ego thing that you don't get to do that. I don't like it when people that have earned it do it, because it's just a show, man. You're just trying to tell a story. But when the story you're trying to tell is, I'm a tough guy. Oh God. Oh my God. Not in pro wrestling. Stop it, man. For real. Daddy, make me look tough. Daddy, I want to beat up the Undertaker. You got it, Shane.
All right.
But yeah, man. Undertaker not being on WrestleMania, I think is a great idea. We've talked about it. I think he's had 2 more than he should have had.
Yeah.
Oh shoot, man! There was something else. There was another thing that, like another potential match that popped in my head, and I forgot what the heck it was. I'm assuming that Doc and Carl won't be on WrestleMania this year. I'm really happy about that though, because I want that all the Young Buck talk of making AEW a tag destination. I'm like, yes sir, that's exactly what you should do, because you have no competition there. Mm-hmm. They don't care. NXT, AEW, that's it. Vince is never going to care about that stuff, so you've got that. And I'm happy about Doc and Carl because I would love for I know there's well they might go back to New Japan. I don't think that's not a full-time thing because
go show up there
once a
show
year.
two.
Yeah, once a year they'll cut you the huge check to show up at the Dome, and that's great. But man, Doc, I'm sorry, I do it every time. Carl Anderson posts way too many pictures of himself at his house with his tiny little baby. He is having way too much fun hanging out with his kids. I don't want him to move back to Japan.
Yeah.
If he really, if he can get a big check, and boy, we'll discuss Jim Ross in a second.
Mm-hmm.
If he can get that big check domestically and not have to put up with Vince's crap,
Do it.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I really love the idea of those guys going over and doing that thing. That'll make me very happy. And then, I'm that much closer to my dream matches. I shouldn't say Doc and Carl versus the Briscoes because that happened. I got that at the house. It's great. They just hit for Pete's sake. Man, it's the one in New York, the Hammerstein, I think, is the one it's at. You always know it when you see it because it's the ECW One Night Stand with like the big wall and all that.
Yeah.
Man, they dive out of the ring and kill each other. It's just this gigantic, old school Jim Barnett brawl. It's fantastic. Yeah. It's so good. I love it, man. But I didn't mean to veer off WrestleMania, but we'll discuss JR's insane contract.
Well, I guess one of the things that makes you kind of think about leading up to the whole AEW and other shows going on is they announced Mania 36 is going to be in Tampa.
Yeah.
And it feels to me almost like, when I started thinking about it, it's like, okay, you got the Buccaneers Stadium, but then it kind of thought, well, where else is there going to be to do shows? And then, like you were telling me, the Tampa Bay Lightning are down there.
Yeah.
I've completely forgot about that stadium, but it feels to me like, well, for the WrestleMania weekend, WWE is starting to seek out cities where they're the only ones that could do it. Like, get the buildings down, and once you take up all the venues in that city, I mean, there's nowhere for AEW or Ring of Honor or anybody else to go unless they're an hour out of town or 45 minutes, and they'll still go, but it's going to make it a lot harder to do everything. So you're really going to, that might just be coincidence with Tampa, but to me it seems strategic.
It could be. You know me, man. I think Vince misfires very often, and I think that I've said for 2 years now, man, if you're not looking to extend the tent, you're making a mistake.
Yeah.
That the era of exclusivity is over. Now I understand his buddy's in the White House, so he would never ever. Vince would never agree with what I'm about to say.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump is the death rattle of that style of governing, not the beginning of a new era. People don't believe that, and I know it's very easy to get disheartened by what's going on, but it's an ending. It's one of the reasons it's as violent as it is.
Mm-hmm.
The lions don't walk around like this unless they're in a corner and shot in the face.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't work that way. But
Yeah.
I think that if you really want to go to war and you want to do your own thing, and I get it, WrestleMania is always going to be WrestleMania, but that's a year away.
Yeah.
People have a lot more time to get their steam going, and I mean, I think fans, I don't think they'll have a problem going across town and doing stuff, but if you make people choose, you might not like the choice they make.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying there, because the deal is AEW's never going to be as successful as WWE. I don't think they will be, but the point being that what is success for AEW, infinitely lower bar than WWE.
Yeah.
So if AEW starts drawing a crowd and you make them choose, if 1,000 people choose the non-WWE show, oh, you're going to feel that. And
Yeah.
you'll notice it. You will notice that. So I think the idea of doing the put walls up exclusive thing is a terrible idea.
Mm-hmm.
And to be fair to Vince, it would be the first time he's ever done it. That sounds ridiculous, but you know what I'm talking about. And him going to war with the territories, he was the underdog then. That was totally different.
Mm-hmm.
But back in the day, man, you found out the stories about him bankrolling ECW, and it's all like, man, the WWE hates us, and Vince McMahon wants to shut us down, and la-di-da. And Paulie's cutting those BS promos the whole time. He's getting checks from Vince.
Yeah.
So I'm still not, I should say. I'm not completely certain that he's not okay with all this crap. You just play it up for all of us to get on the internet and talk about it. But I just don't see why he would possibly care. But maybe, I don't know, because I mean, I guess the one thing that would be concerning is the funding that the people you're in battle with now. have, because you do not want to go. Obviously, as long as Ring of Honor is Sinclair, I don't think that's as big a deal as some people do, because Sinclair will sell them out as soon as they want to. But your guy, Daddy Moneybags Khan for AEW, that's a problem. And again, we'll transfer to Jim Ross in a second, because boy, that tells you. And the other thing is not just New Japan.
I think it ties in to kind of what we're talking about.
It does. Oh yeah, that'll be the grand transition.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is New Japan money and where it actually comes from. You cannot imagine what that money is, man. Every time you watch it, it says Asahi. Look up what Asahi is, man. Asahi is like Budweiser and Chevrolet and McDonald's as one company. It is shocking what that company actually is. So you just have. It's the same thing happening to Vince that he did to the territories, and they just kind of rolled their eyes and didn't go with the punches. Then they tried to catch up, and it's like, you're not going to catch up now. That's dumb. You shouldn't have done that. No, absolutely. I thought they should have just stayed the course and done what they were doing. And it's what Ring of Honor had to do 30 years later, of basically starting a new territory system where you just bring all these dudes in. And it might work, but I don't know, man. I just think that, especially for the freaking diehards, for the elite and all that crap, if you're running Tampa and they decide to run Khan's house in Jacksonville, you gonna split that ticket. It's gonna be wrestling war. That's what all of us want anyway, man.
Yeah.
But it's, I think if the Jim Ross contract is
that'll be July. They're gonna do that in July, so they could go back down there again around that.
Oh man,
time.
they got that stadium, man, and
Yeah.
then also, like you're saying, it's summertime, so.
Yeah.
Or if they do it if they're running it in opposition to WrestleMania, that'll be into March or April under those. And either way, football season's not going on, so you got the building, and you don't have to pay for it, so it's like, all right then. But I mean, don't get me wrong, a football stadium show for AEW I don't think that's a good idea, but that's just my opinion on it. But we'll see, man. I really don't know. I mean, Tampa's not a tiny place, and I'm assuming that not everything has to be like. I mean, Ring of Honor's not going to run one of those plays. They're running MSG, and that's a huge deal, but that's not like the new precedent.
Yeah.
That's like you can get it and you got it, and that's cool. So you go New Japan, Ring of Honor, all that stuff is real good. But I mean, there's tons of like concert halls and venues, a lot of places that you can have wrestling matches that aren't NBA or NHL arenas. And because I mean, honestly, up until All In, Vince was the only person that had ever done that. So it's like, all right then. I mean, consistently. Don't get me wrong. The Omni used to have wrestling all the time, but it wasn't weekly TV.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's places to go. I'm with you. I don't like the idea of making people choose, because I just don't know if that's going to go the way you want it to. Especially if you can't get your head out of your ass and do better shows than the junk you did tonight. But it's fun. It's exciting. The point I keep making about Jim Ross is, can I just be mean about it?
That's good.
What a waste of money, Tony Khan. Jesus Christ, what are you doing, man? It's not like Vince is like, Jim, I'll give you $999,999, not a penny more. Are you seriously telling me you think $1 million a year is necessary to get Jim Ross's contract? Nobody believes that.
If Access TV taught us anything, it's that the thrill's gone. And I guess, hopefully, a majority of that money is what he can provide behind the camera.
It's still shocking that when you consider
still way too much.
When you consider that there is no negotiation.
Yeah.
It's not like you're going back and forth. You give Jim Ross $1 million a year for 4 years to make a point. And I was telling Jared, man, it is my opinion, just my gut feeling, that point is not to Vince McMahon or Shane or Steffi or Hunter, none of them. That point is to AJ Styles. I swear to God, it's Tony Khan looking AJ Styles dead in the face and saying, don't let money keep you in Connecticut, by the way. Yeah, it's like, hey, man, if you're happy and you want to stay there, you do your thing. But don't let that man not pay you, because we can pay you. And again, it's the same thing with Ted Turner. The last time Vince got his ass on his shoulders was when Ted got involved. And remember, when Ted was involved, WCW kicked his ass. It wasn't until after they handed the crap over to not Ross, to
AOL Time Warner.
Yeah, AOL Time Warner and frickin' Bischoff to run the shop. You didn't beat Ted, because Ted just kept writing checks. So if Tony Khan is really in this thing, this might get ugly. Or we're getting it. We're going to get, Vince's. I love the idea of all the surveys. And I just love the idea of taking surveys and you jump in and you insert Charlotte Flair, and you jump in and you insert Kevin Owens, and you just do these things that people don't want to see. What if all of your research and all of your surveys
Market research.
are to find out what people don't want.
Yeah.
So that way, when you're booking yourself out of the territory, what a way to go out. I think that's an awesome idea, man.
Yeah.
I hope that's what they do. God, that would be so cool, man. And just, I don't know, man. We like to talk about how out of touch Vince is, and maybe he is. Or maybe it's by design, and we'll all see.
Yeah.
But, man, I love the idea of him getting out of it, and I like the idea of, I don't know, competition's great. But again, it really, like, just the offer, when they talked about making offers to Randy Orton and guys like that, I just thought that was good for guys like Randy, because I don't think Randy's ever going to leave WWE. But it's good when you go to negotiate your contract to say, hey, I got this offer on the table. So all that stuff is good regardless. But if that contract to Jim Ross is real, and I'm telling you, I just can't imagine that's real. But it's got to be, oh, no, we're not playing around, because we'll give this guy you don't even want $1 million a year. It's like, oh my God.
Oh.
But yeah, it's like, I just thought that was for AJ. And I think that Doc and Carl are already on their way, which is, that'd be so cool, because I miss those guys. And if you've never actually seen Carl Anderson work a non-WWE match, if he ever gets to AEW, just tune in that one time, because you will be shocked at how good that guy is. Yep. He is unreal when he doesn't have the brakes put on him, because no one else gets to do that but Randy. You'll see some stuff, man. Yeah. That guy's awesome. And my other guy, I said this earlier, man. If we're just gonna strip mine WWE and take guys away, I swear to God, my number one, even over AJ, my number one guy is Claudio Cesaro. Yeah. Oh my God, man! If they would get him and Chris Hero and put the Kings back together, let's do it. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, be awesome.
Or even if they don't do that, just get him out of there. That guy is. I mean, just think about that guy on, like, how in the world is Cesaro versus AJ Styles not a thing? How have we not even talked about that? That just stinks, man.
Yeah. It's not good.
It's not, man. It makes me mad. Cesaro versus Samoa Joe for the Intercontinental title. Come on, man. Yeah. That's... God, I miss when there used to be a pocket on WWE cards. Mm-hmm. Just a pocket for those of us that really like watching dudes just wrestle each other. Mm-hmm. It's cool. And it's all good. You can go straight up 1996 Nitro and talk about the NWO the whole time. Doesn't matter. You don't have to call it. I'd just like to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. What else we got going on? We got the Crockett Cup coming up. I don't even know. I think that's April. I think it's the end of April. Yeah. Pretty sure that's right.
April 20-something, 24.
It's something like that. And I don't know. I know that Villain Enterprises is in. Mm-hmm. And apparently it's kind of cool. Apparently it seems like it's going to be at least a 4-team tournament, if not more than that. And it's like one from each company, because you got Ring of Honor, you got CMLL, you got the NWA, and you got New Japan. And it's like, oh, that's kind of awesome to do it that way. It's like, that's pretty slick. I kind of like that, man. So I am looking quite forward to that. I haven't decided if I'm going up yet or not. I know normally I would not, but this is a very particular slice of nostalgia from my childhood, because I have always been a tag team wrestling fanatic. Crockett Cup was one of the earliest memories I have of, like, not just coming on to something, but I was into it and they announced this thing and I'm like, oh my God, I have to see this. So if we're bringing that back, and there's just something, the idea of being in the building, and honestly, as much as I'm excited about the tag stuff, Aldis versus Marty Scurll's exciting as hell. That's very, very cool. So if I can be in a building with Nick Aldis and Marty Scurll and Billy Corgan and Jim Cornette, and I can watch the Crockett Cup and an NWA title, but I don't know, man. I just have so many, like, I think back and I watch old tapes and stuff when they're announcing so-and-so, la-di-da at the Coliseum, come on down, Charlotte, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, holy crap, the era that we were like teenagers and had the ability to jump in cars and drive to this stuff, it was Nitro. It was Monday Night War, which I know should have been the greatest thing ever, but there were things about that I loved, and I loved the shows we went to. But as far as bopping up and down the Atlantic coast and going to those shows, you watch those dates, it's like, God dang, that would have been fun. So now, if Billy Corgan's gonna bring it to Charlotte, and I'm like, you should go to this, man. Yeah. So I think I haven't decided yet. I'm still thinking about it.
Heck yeah.
Still thinking about it, brothers and sisters.
Good brothers.
That's my Terry Gordy impersonation, in case y'all are wondering. Because I love to beat up a Von Erich anytime you want to write your name on the paper. I think Gordy's the most underrated promo of all time.
Yeah.
Of all time. He's got that awesome voice. Gordy's my man. Gordy and who are my guys from when I was a kid? I love Ricky and Robert. Gordy and Eaton are interesting because they were the first two heels that. I mean, I hate when people try to do that revisionist. No, I always liked the heels. I always liked the bad guys. I was cool. I was a cool kid. I wasn't. I am a white meat, white hat, good guy. I mentioned earlier that I love Bailey. I'm still that way.
Yeah.
But the first two heels that I had a hard time booing, Eaton got me over because he beat up Ricky Morton so bad. And it's just like, you son of a meanness. Bobby, I'm still mad at Bobby.
I'll find you.
Yeah, I'll find you. But Terry Gordy had the hardest time booing. That guy was so awesome, man. It's awesome. And then we mentioned Jim Ross earlier, and I kind of buried him a little bit, so I'll put him over now. The first, not Wrestle War for Pete's sake, Super Brawl. Sorry, first Super Brawl. Ric Flair, Fujinami in the main event. Very cool. Learned who Fujinami was. That was sharp. You had Sting and Luger against the Steiners for the tag titles. That was like the coolest thing I'd ever seen, and it ended with Nikita coming down. It was just kind of a dusty finish, but it was still neat to see those four guys go at it. And also there is a wonderful clothesline that apparently, Rick Steiner was known to be pretty stiff-ski. So it's all good. So apparently Luger decided to pay him back for everybody he had ever shot with that Steiner line. I mean, he comes out of the corner and hits him. It's not quite as funny as Terry Gordy on Stan Hansen in that one match. That's the funniest thing I've ever seen in a wrestling match, man. But it's still quite impressive because it's Rick Steiner, and Rick just ate it. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But on that card, man, you had Arn Anderson, TV champ, against Bobby Eaton. Find that match, watch that match. It is absolutely extraordinary, and it's my favorite Jim Ross call ever because it's Bobby Eaton, who I have literally hated my entire life as a wrestling fan. And from the time he hits the curtain to before he gets in the ring, Ross has me completely on his side, and I want him to win, and he's the biggest babyface ever. It's my favorite Jim Ross call ever because I'm like, that sucker's effective. It's amazing. I can't believe I'm pulling over Bobby Eaton. That match is still my probably top 5. I'll say top 10, but definitely top 10, maybe top 5. It's fantastic. Anyway, I don't know what else we was going to discuss, man.
That's pretty much it, man.
I think
all the business that was going down.
That's all the news that's fit to print, brother. It's all the news that's fit to write down on the paper.
On a good paper.
A good paper.
That's what's up, y'all.
Thank you for watching, y'all. Take it easy.
Daylight savings. I'm tired.